time with us, and thanks for always being such a champ. As I said, we're holding these short video introduction sessions with various people, and you were selected because you're positive and you understand what the problems are out there. So maybe if I could ask you to just give us a short background about yourself and where you come from and what you do and so forth, maybe with your name and so forth included. Thanks.
Hi, Nico. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of these interviews. I really enjoy talking to ASPASA and especially to you. I only realized this a while back, but my first official job was at an aggregate and concrete laboratory way back when at the University of Pretoria. And now, many years later, I am again involved in aggregates. In between, I have been a bit all over, but it is one of the skills that I acquired in this in-between time that brought me back to the aggregate laboratories. I started developing management systems. I'm talking about management systems from two sides, management policies and procedures, and an accompanying software solution. So 10 years ago, Go Consult, Jacques Smith invited me to develop a quality management system for aggregate and concrete laboratories. And that grew into a project of quality assurance of laboratories at several aggregate mines.
Thanks, Saartjie. So you've had your hands dirty, which
yes,
is fine.
I've had my hands dirty, definitely.
Oh, that's important. Maybe so you've actually covered your experience too a little bit in that short, or is there anything more that you would like to say about your experience? Otherwise, we'll go.
Yeah, when we started with quality at the aggregate laboratories, I think many eyebrows lifted at the thought of getting an outside consultant in to help with quality assurance on a continuous basis. Consultants are normally brought in to handle claims, but bringing us in was more in the line of preventative action. We did not make earth-shattering changes, but we brought consistency day in and day out, and that was what the mine's customers were looking for. And pretty soon, big claims became a thing of the past, and that was what the mine was looking for, So you have the mine is happy and the customers are happy because quality is in place. So quality has become a very important part of aggregate mining.
Great. Okay, let's go on to some of the challenges that you have experienced, or view that you will still experience from your side of the business, your speciality.
Yeah.
We all have that problem, so that's not your part of it. But
no, but it's quality is a very important part. I thought I will not so much talk about the challenges, but I can maybe tell you a couple of lessons that I learned. The first one is that quality is about consistency. Our products must be consistent. I'm sure you know the saying that you can make concrete with anything as long as it is consistent. Well, that is true not only of concrete, but of many other things. If we can provide a consistent raw material, the customers that work with it can put proper plans in place. But if your material is not consistent, it is very difficult for the customer to plan their quality. So the first lesson, and I think very important lesson, is that quality is about consistency. The other lesson, and this is probably not such a very popular lesson with quality people, but quality is not about being perfect. It is about being as close to perfect that is financially viable. So for me, this was a very hard lesson to learn. I always tell the story of the one plant manager that I worked with, and that's now 10 years ago. And I called him. I said, I notice on your 4.75 millimeter screen that there is a trend of 0.5% moving towards one side of the graph. What are you going to do about it? And his mouth just fell open. He couldn't believe. I mean, that is so absolutely, totally impractical. So I learned that there is a practical side to this. There must be a balance between quality and production. We strive for excellence, but if excellence is costing more than what we can afford, then that is also a problem. On the other hand, we ignore quality at our own detriment. So let me give you an example. Let's say a perfect sampling system will cost a mine 1 million rand, and it will give results of about 99% accuracy. Or a less perfect sampling system costs a monthly salary and give results of about 98% accuracy. Which will you choose? So just keep in mind that no sampling can cost you the mine. So there must be a balance. You cannot say, no, I don't have the money to spend on quality. But you also cannot say, I am going to spend all my money on quality and nothing else is important. There must be a balance. So this, for me, was a hard lesson. I'm the one that will err more on the go for 100% perfect side, but there is another side to that as well. So quality must be financially viable. Another thing that I learned was that quality and regular testing that is required for quality provides for informed decision making. And this is a vital asset to any business. You cannot eyeball a product and then think you know what it is. But regular testing will tell you exactly what you have, and then you can plan accordingly. But I think the most important lesson that I learned was that quality is about communication. You can have the best sampling and excellent testing, but if those results are not communicated and acted upon, it means absolutely nothing. So quality is about building relationships and trust between the laboratory and production and between the laboratory and marketing. Communication is not only important within the mine, but also externally. It is important that customers must be made aware of problems as soon as possible. It might not be nice, but it establishes trust between the mine and its customers, and customers are less likely to sue if they pick up on problems because they know that you communicate. So that's really very important.
Saartjie, thanks for that. My next sort of focus area is some of the positive issues that you've experienced or that you see out there, and some of, because we're not always negative, there's a lot of positive.
Yeah.
Share that with us, please.
Yeah, there is. I definitely have found that over the last few years, management is buying into quality more and more. And this, I think, is a very positive issue. At one of the mines where I have been involved, the mine manager expected that every one of his workers work in the laboratory for at least 2 weeks. And it just completely changed the way that, the production staff think about quality. So there's definitely an increase in the awareness of quality. Mines that think that quality is too expensive are making a very big mistake. It is one of those things that a mine cannot afford not to invest in. So many of the small mines will think, no, I cannot afford a laboratory, and they think of a big building with lots of specialized equipment, but that is not true. You can start simple testing under a tree. So you need basic equipment. Anybody can start a very simple quality management system. And I think that is very important. Another important thing that I think we have to remember is that quality has never been more important than what it is now. In difficult financial times, people try to save wherever they can, and unfortunately, one of the ways to save is not to pay a supplier because there was a problem with their quality. If the supplier has no type of quality management system in place, it's very difficult to prove that they were not guilty. Quality management, especially today, is very important. It's really very important. Another thing that I've noticed that is improving, I think, is communication. It's as if there is a different culture in the mines where people cultivate communication and teamwork, and that is very positive.
Thanks, Saartjie. That's very helpful and very positive. Then normally my last question is, what's your view about ASPASA and what should we do, what we're not doing, and what should we stop doing, whatever? Just your view, because you might have your own view about what we do in ASPASA or what we shouldn't be doing.
You know, Nico, I have always liked ASPASA, and I've not made a secret about that. I believe it is always better for an industry to regulate itself than what it is to have the government providing regulation. So to me, ASPASA is a great example of this. ASPASA's health and safety audits and environmental audits have established a great reputation industry-wide. It has lifted the surface mining industry to a whole different level and established a great rapport with the government. And I think that that is excellent. I know that ASPASA is working on the same kind of audit for quality and would really like to see it come to fruition. What people have to realize is that the same way ASPASA's health and safety and environmental audits have built a good relationship with the government, quality audits will establish a good relationship with customers.
Yeah, that's good. That's great thing. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to say before we sign off. I hope you have a good festive season, and yeah, we'll go again next year. 2020 was a bit of a slowdown suddenly, so a lot of the stuff that we were talking about planning didn't happen. But thanks for your help, thanks for your input, and thanks for your positiveness about what we're doing and what we're not doing. And yeah, have a great day and the rest of the week. And thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Nico.